The new construction begins. I face my embarrassments. Truncated plan. My husband is like Mr. Bean.
Wow, that's quite the title.
It is.
So it sounds like we're in for quite a ride just based on that title alone.
Oh, yeah, definitely sounds like we're going to get a glimpse into her everyday life.
For sure. And it really makes you think,
Mm-hmm.
like, what does it say about a person, when they choose to vlog and put their life out there for everyone to see?
Well, I think it says they're pretty comfortable with being vulnerable, willing to share the good and the bad.
Right, not just the picture-perfect moments.
Exactly, and that's kind of refreshing these days, don't you think?
Yeah, totally. In a world where everything feels so curated,
Yeah.
it's nice to see someone just being real.
Yeah.
And we see that realness right from the start with her rainy day detour.
Oh, right.
She's all set to take your kids to this farm, but then the weather takes a turn.
Yeah, what happens?
Well, she doesn't just give up and go home.
Oh, okay.
She starts driving around, checking out different entrances to the farm.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's almost like she's trying to convince herself that it's still going to work out.
Like if she just finds the right entrance, the rain will stop.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's funny.
There's this, childlike optimism there.
Yeah.
But then there's this shift.
Oh.
Practicality sets in.
Okay.
She realizes it's just not going to happen and makes the decision to turn around.
Makes sense.
It's a moment of pure adaptability, I think.
Yeah.
Adjusting to unexpected circumstances, which is something we can all relate to, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Especially parents. You always got to have a plan B.
Definitely.
And it's interesting because, this adaptability isn't just about reacting to problems. It's also about seizing opportunities, like we see with her grocery haul.
Oh, right.
She goes in for cold cuts and comes out with a car full of bargain chicken.
Who hasn't done that?
Right. That score mentality.
I know, I've been there.
It's practically universal.
Yeah, but it's more than just a good deal, though, don't you think?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
It speaks to her resourcefulness, making the most of what's available.
Yeah, and that's a pretty valuable trait.
Especially these days.
Exactly. In a world so focused on convenience and instant gratification.
Yeah, it's almost like she's teaching us a lesson in mindful consumption.
And she's probably not even realizing it.
Right.
And then there's that whole scene in the restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
She decides to film, even though she's feeling self-conscious.
I remember that part.
It was so relatable.
Yeah.
From the makeshift tripod,
Right.
using salt and pepper shakers,
That was clever.
to her just talking about feeling awkward.
It's like she's giving us permission to embrace our own imperfections.
Right, because who doesn't feel awkward sometimes?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in a world where everyone's trying to present this perfect image online,
Yeah.
it's really refreshing to see someone just be real.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, though,
Mm.
was that a conscious decision on her part?
Good question.
Or is it just her natural personality shining through?
It's hard to say for sure.
Yeah.
But either way, it's creating a real connection with her viewers,
It is. There's a vulnerability there that's really endearing.
I agree.
It makes me think about vlogging as a whole.
Okay.
Is it self-expression? A way to connect with others? Maybe both.
It's probably a mix of all those things, and it probably varies from person to person.
Yeah.
But what's clear is that it's connecting with a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's not just the big, exciting moments either.
Right.
It's also the everyday stuff, like Cintikart doing laundry
Oh, yeah.
and talking about missing socks.
That part about the socks behind the washing machine.
I was just thinking that.
It's so random.
It's so true, though.
But it's also something we've all experienced.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even though she's sharing her life online, she's still a regular person.
Dealing with regular things.
Just like us.
Exactly.
And those regular things can actually tell us a lot about a person.
Oh, yeah.
Their values, their priorities.
Sure.
Like, how does she approach chores?
Yeah.
Does she see them as a burden or as part of creating a comfortable home?
Those are great questions.
And I think as we continue watching her day unfold,
Yeah.
we'll start to get some answers.
I'm curious to see what else we can uncover.
Let's keep going then.
It's amazing how even the smallest details can tell you so much about someone.
It really is.
Like their personality or their values.
Yeah, like that moment when she's waiting to pick up her kids from the farm.
Yeah.
And a chicken suddenly escapes and starts flying around.
Oh, wow.
Most people will probably freak out.
Yeah, I probably would.
But Cintikart just laughs and starts filming it.
Really?
Yeah, it's like she's totally unfazed.
That's so funny.
Just shows how laid back she is, right?
Definitely.
Like she's just going with the flow.
It's a good reminder.
Like life's going to throw you curveballs.
Yeah.
Might as well enjoy the ride.
For sure.
And you know what's even better?
What's that?
Instead of getting caught up in the chicken chaos,
Yeah.
she uses that downtime to edit her video.
Wow, talk about multitasking.
Right.
It's impressive.
It makes you think, are all vloggers like that?
Maybe.
Like super organized and efficient?
It's easy to forget
Yeah.
that behind those effortless-looking vlogs,
Right.
there's a lot of work involved.
Definitely.
And not just the technical stuff,
Yeah.
but also the emotional part.
Oh, you mean putting yourself out there?
Exactly, being vulnerable with your audience.
That takes courage.
It does.
Speaking of vulnerability,
Yeah.
let's talk about the Mr. Bean husband.
Oh, right, the construction project.
It's clear she finds his unique approach endearing.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can hear the affection in her voice.
Even when she's teasing him a bit,
Right?
it's sweet.
It reminds you that good relationships,
Mm-hmm.
they're built on acceptance and humor.
Absolutely.
And you know what's interesting?
Right.
He's using salvaged materials for this project,
Oh, that's cool.
which is kind of a recurring theme with her and her family.
Right, that resourcefulness.
It's like you've created this little ecosystem of sustainability
Yeah,
where nothing goes to waste.
I like that.
And, you know, that connection to nature,
Yeah.
it extends beyond their home, too.
Oh, right.
Think about her garden
Yeah.
and those Prohibiciones de Paso signs.
Ooh, the no trespassing signs.
They add a bit of mystery, don't they?
They do.
What do you think the story is there?
I don't know, maybe she just values her privacy.
Could be.
Or maybe it's to protect her plants.
From curious neighbors?
Yeah, but it also says something about boundaries, you know?
Oh, interesting.
But creating a space that's just for her.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like a bigger conversation about personal space in a crowded world.
That's a good point.
We all need those boundaries.
Definitely.
And, oh, speaking of thriving,
Yeah.
remember the orchid update?
Oh, right.
It's great to see she took everyone's advice.
And her plant is doing well.
It's a testament to community, even online.
It makes you wonder,
Mm-hmm.
are these online support systems becoming more important?
I think so.
Especially with how isolating the world can feel sometimes.
Yeah, makes sense.
As physical communities change.
Right,
These online spaces can provide a sense of belonging.
for sure.
And for someone like Cintikart,
Yeah.
sharing her life so publicly.
That support must be really valuable.
Definitely.
It's like her viewers are becoming an extended family,
I like that.
giving advice, encouragement, and just being there for her.
And it's not just one-sided either.
Right.
She's also giving back by sharing her life.
Yeah, the good and the bad.
It's a reminder that we're all in this together.
We are.
And by being open and authentic, we can build real connections.
Even online.
Exactly.
And, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes it's not about these big revelations. It's just about sharing those everyday moments.
Like making dinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
That scene where she's showing us what she's cooking.
Oh, and the air fryer.
Yeah. Pumpkin puree, lentils, cordon bleu, fried.
Sounds like a lot.
It's so relatable.
Yeah, it is.
It reminds us that even the simplest tasks
Mm-hmm.
can be done with love and care.
That's beautiful.
And there's beauty in that, right?
Yeah.
Finding the extraordinary in the ordinary.
Exactly.
Something Cintikart seems to have mastered.
She has.
It's like she's teaching us to appreciate those little things.
Especially in a world that can feel so overwhelming, finding those
better.
moments of joy.
So as she's wrapping up her vlog,
Yeah.
thanking her viewers, recommending other videos,
It leaves you with a warm feeling.
it does.
Like you spent the day with a friend,
That's-
sharing her laughter, her challenges, her wins.
And in doing so, we learn something about ourselves too,
Oh, definite.
about resilience, community, the beauty of the everyday.
Well said.
So what do you think, listeners?
Yeah.
What resonates most with you about Cinikart's story?
What have you learned from this deep dive?
You know, it's amazing how much we can learn from just one vlog.
It is, right? It's so simple on the surface.
Right, just a day in her life.
But when you really look at it,
Yeah,
it touches on some pretty complex themes.
yeah, like what?
Well, we've been talking about adaptability,
Right,
resourcefulness, finding that balance.
between independence and community
Exactly. Things we all deal with.
in different ways.
For sure.
And I think what makes Cinikart's story stand out
Yeah.
is that she's so authentic.
You can tell she's not trying to be anyone else.
Right, just herself,
Flaws and all.
which makes her so relatable.
Totally. It's like she's saying,
Yeah,
it's okay to be yourself.
embrace those quirks.
Find the humor in things.
And that's such an important message.
Especially these days.
When we're constantly seeing these perfect images,
Everywhere.
yeah, it's a good reminder.
That perfection isn't real.
And real connection,
comes from being genuine.
letting people see the real.
It's exactly.
You know, as we've been talking, I keep thinking about balance.
Yeah.
Cintikart seems to have found it
It's impressive, right?
between family, work, her own projects.
Even taking time for herself?
But it's not about having it all figured out, is it?
No, not at all.
It's about constantly adjusting.
Adapting to whatever comes your way.
And finding those little moments of joy.
Even when things are chaotic.
Exactly.
I think that's a great lesson for all of us.
It is. Life is messy, unpredictable.
But that doesn't mean we can't find fulfillment.
Or connection.
And sometimes it's those detours, those unexpected moments.
Mr. Bean moments.
Exactly.
That lead to the best discoveries. So, as we wrap up this deep dive into Cintikart's world, I'm left feeling inspired.
Me too.
Like even ordinary days can be extraordinary.
It's all about perspective.
And what about you, listener?
Yeah. What are your takeaways?
What will you carry with you
from this deep dive
as you go about your own adventures?
Keep exploring.
Keep learning.
And keep finding those moments of wonder
that make life a little brighter.
Until next time.
Deep in the shadows, I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other. So far as the echo, where do we start? You can learn to discover.